better watch out.
Alright, everybody, we're back here on the Smooth Joe program, December 15th, 2011, and it was a dandy week in the MFL. Two tight games for the first week of the playoffs. We focused on D-Walt and Team Stud last week. It was a tight game. D-Walt was rolling heavy, going in up a lot. Stud had Romo on Sunday night. He had 32 points. And then he also had Marshawn Lynch on Monday night, who had 18. So the score sets at 143 to 140 right now. Also, remember last week I said Colson would have 30 points. Came close. He had 23. So it was a good prediction by Smooth Joe. But we're going to move away from that game. We'll finish that up next week when the game's over. And we're going to go to the game that we didn't focus on last week. That's the Goose Hunters versus Team Puggy, and it's also a tight battle. Goose Hunters up by 5, 122 to 117, heading into the second week. Antonio Brown was on the bench for Team Puggy, and oh boy, if he was starting, he would have won this week. He had 25 also. He started the Patriots D, which only had 13, and the Eagles D had 29. So he made a few mistakes there. He's going to join us in a little bit via phone, and we're going to talk to him about some of the upcoming matchups, how he thinks he could pull this one off. And, you know, you had big games for Goose Hunters. Obviously, Ray Rice always solid with 19. Stafford, I think he had 20 and or 25. You know, Goose Hunter's been solid all year. He shouldn't have a problem pulling this out. But, you know, Puggy, Coach Rick, he's going to tell us otherwise. So, Greg Jennings is out, and that's going to be big for the Goose Hunters. We're going to have to ask him questions about that, too. But anyway, joining us next is going to be Coach Rick O'Shea of Team Puggy via phone. We'll see what he has to say about a few mistakes he made and what he could do to win this battle. We'll be back after this. Christmas edition, Smooth Joe. Alright, welcome back to the Smooth Joe program. Joining us now via phone is Coach Rick O'Shea at Team Puggy. Coach Rick, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing alright, hanging in there. You know, just been going over your game this past week. A few mistakes you made, but you're only down by 5. How you feel going into this second week?
We're feeling pretty good. We have a pretty even matchup, we think. That's mistakes, you're right. We made some pretty big mistakes last week. Hopefully we can make up for it this week.
Yeah, you know, you started the Patriots Day at only at 13. I mean, not a bad start, but the Eagles, 29. If you would have had them in, you would have won. Also, Antonio Brown, 25. You know, kind of disappointing, but there's things you could do to fix that.
Right. Well, we're still having the debacle this week with our defense. Not knowing whether to start Patriots against Denver or Eagles against Jets. The toss-up again, Joe.
Yeah, you know, that really is a toss-up. You never know with the Jets playing the high-flying Eagles, and same thing for Denver. But you have Tebow. I'd like to ask you what you think about Tebow. You know, what's going on there?
We like the kid, you know. We picked him up the week right before he came in to start for the Broncos. He's been doing good ever since, double digits every week. You know, that's all you can ask.
Yeah, you know, he is doing great on that little win streak he's got going. And, you know, you also have Gronkowski versus Denver. That's almost a guaranteed 25 at least. So, you know, he could help you win this one.
Oh, he's a beast. He's a beast, Joe. We like that trade we made with Davis early in the year. We traded Welker and Daniels for Gronkowski, who's arguably better than Welker now, and Big Ben.
Oh.
Six-time quarterback.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that. It's a pretty good trade, but you know, other than that, you're sitting down by 5, and you got a few good players. I think you could pull this one out, Team Puggy, Coach Rick. I hope you do. So we'll talk to you probably next week after the game's over. All right, thanks for joining. Thanks a lot, Rick.
Bye.
All right, that's Coach Rick O'Shea of Team Puggy. Just had him in here for a quick interview. But after this, joining us will be coach of Team Bricktown Goose Hunters.
Silver bells, silver bells.
All right, back here on the Smooth Joe program with the first time ever interview Hal McNear. Nice to see you, Hal.
Nice to be here. I've been waiting to be here for a couple years. Finally made it to the playoffs. Finally on my way onto the program.
That's exactly how you do it here in Smooth Joe. We only want winners in this program. That's why you see Coach Hank Scherber get the boot, and also Sussman wasn't on until this year when he actually had a good team. But anyway, you're up by 5. We
Yes,
just
I
talked to Puggy. He's feeling confident about this week, but
Busy.
you got a really big game out of Ray Rice as usual.
Yes, I did.
He had 19. Jennings is out though. How do you feel about that?
Jennings is out. I feel my team suffered its fair share of injuries, and it's about time it happened to someone else.
Yeah, you got Stafford going up against who they playing this week?
I don't care who they play.
All right.
Stafford puts up numbers, whoever he's playing.
Okay, yeah, he's got him. But you also have Jimmy Graham who had a down week last week.
Yeah,
But
he did.
he's got Gronkowski. I'm not sure if it cancels out, but who do you like better, Graham or Gronk?
Well, Graham's battling back injury, but if I had to, I would put this matchup down to whoever scores the most points out of this. And in saying that, I will take Jimmy Graham.
All right. Most people wouldn't do that, but Jimmy Graham is definitely really good, so it might be a wash. All right. I saw you had Forte, right?
I did have Forte.
He's out. Now you have Spiller filling in.
Yes.
Do you think he could hold down the job like Forte did?
Forte's a special player. He was really stepped it up this year. No one thought he was going to be as good as he was. He was tearing it up for us. He stepped in, and when Jamal Charles went out first week, and but I think Spiller's going to give it his best. Not quite as good as Forte, but he'll keep us in it this week.
Yeah, I think he will too. He's been running hard down there for Buffalo, but it's going to be tough. You're up 5. I don't know who's going to win this one along with the other game. I really can't put a finger on it. But,
All you got to do is point left.
There you go. Coach Hal McNear doing his best to get in Ricochet's mind. And I guess I'm going to have to take him then. I'm going to think he's going to win.
I like it.
Coach Hal, thanks. We'll talk to you next
Always a
week.
pleasure.
Win or lose, we'll talk to you again.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Thank you. We'll join you after this. We'll be back. All right, back here in the program to wrap things up. 2 great interviews from 2 good head coaches. They'll be squaring off again this week. All right, I'm going to pick some winners here. D-Walt, he's up 3. I'm going to say Bill Sussman, he's packing it home early this year. He's not going to win. Team Stud's going to take that this week. Ultimately move to the championship, what he's been looking for all year. And how could I go against Hal McNear? He was as confident as ever. And he's up 5. It's not much at all. But, I just think it's his time. So my championship matchup is the 3 versus the 1. And my big player is going to be Tim Tebow this week versus New England for Team Puggy. I think he'll have about 18 to 23. And for the Goose Hunters, CJ Spiller's going to have a nice week. 21 points, 2 touchdowns, and 60 yards. All right. Well, when we come back next week, there's going to be 2 people in the MFL Championship fighting for this trophy. Who wants it? It's up to them. We'll see you next week on the Smooth Joe program.